Hey, welcome to House Off the Wagon. Episode 2 of House of the Dragon, Season 2. Boy, oh boy, it's heating up. It's heating up outside here in Southern California. It's heating up on the show. I got a fire going in the background, Bobak. That's not on a computer. That's my actual fireplace. And, yeah, it's hot as fuck. Oh, I shouldn't have said that because, yeah. Hey, guys, I'm Ben for Cinema Gulp here, as always, with Bobak to talk about Hot D. How's it going, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, we're a couple days, I don't want to say late because we just started doing the stream, but we'll normally do this on Sundays unless one of us has something come up. So a couple days late, but actually that might be good because people got a chance to see the show instead of just a straight live reaction straight from it. Let's get into it on this episode of House Off the Wagon. Damon is in hot water with the missus. Allison can't get enough of that Christian cold tongue. And apparently Amond is in love with gilfs. So let's get started. You want to do a basic recap of what you saw? Like just
I just love the family drama, like just to contrast House Off the Wagon, House of Dragons with the Game of Thrones, where Game of Thrones, it was family against family, and yeah, the families are dysfunctional, but ultimately, well, they're basically on the same side except for like some of the Lannisters. But in this, you really do have a civil war, and it's a brother's war. It's a sister's war. It's a feud within the family. And, I love seeing Rhaenyra's reaction to all these accusations of everyone's saying that you had this child murdered in its crib. And she's like, my nephew or I,
fucking so mad, dude.
yeah. And like people who know each other and who like at some level love each other, and they're just being turned, from against each other through events and through, corruption and a lot of people around them, like you just always have someone whispering poison in their ears, like Larys Strong, the clubfoot dude, who wants to be the hand, like turning the king against his grandfather.
He's this season's Otto, but way more fucking sinister. Because I'm starting to come around that Otto was really just looking after things. He wants himself in the place he was getting to, but this episode shows that everything that he was doing was to keep balance and stuff to things, and he just thought his was the best way to do that. So like getting down to what happened in the first season, where he was like, well, listen, I understand that my buddy, the king, has named his daughter instead of his crazy younger brother to be the heir to the throne, but the people won't accept that. Having a woman in power is going to tear people apart. People aren't going to accept that. There will be war because of this. So we have to have the male heir of just to go with tradition and stuff, because the people will accept this, and not only the people but the other houses will accept this. And it seems like even though he's looking out for himself and his family, it is something like keeping with tradition to keep a male heir on the throne. Sure.
And he's trying to, he really seems like he's the statesman in this second episode, whereas before he was still kind of just pulling for his family. But now it's kind of clear where he's like, no, my grandson's an idiot, he
did not think in his wildest dreams.
He was like, I can manipulate my grandson because he'll always be a child that will follow my lead, and I am going to be the statesman. And he's a calculating guy, he's cold-blooded, but this really does show him in a good light.
Yeah. So this episode starts off with Aegon just totally losing his shit. It's like, war, and it's kind of like he knew that was coming for obvious reasons. Now that's all he wants, and they're hunting down rat catchers, which is so disturbing, bro. Like that scene is fucked up. But over on the Rhaenyra side, she's just like, Daemon, what did you do? What did you do? And she's never intimidated by him at all. She's in this scene. She's straight up like, and she's straight up just telling him how it is. And he's cool. And he does say something like it was a mistake. I don't know what he means by that yet, but then he takes off on his dragon in a really badass shot of him and his dragon. And now I'm curious, what is he going to do? So basically, as a recap from last week, like Daemon's the one who like ordered the youngest to be killed, and for whatever happened, it was a mistake. It was supposed to be somebody else, but they carved up ahead of this. It was ordered,
On screen, ordered Aemon Targaryen to be killed, and yet it was a child that was killed instead. And off screen, we don't know what he said about Plan B, and especially in the second episode where Rhaenyra asks him, like, and I never would think to ask the question, like, and what were your Plan B orders? But she should have asked him that, and he's still like, Daemon, he's like, it was a mistake. Like, we don't know.
I think these two lugheads, I think we talked about it last week. These two lugheads just put it together in their head. Okay, we can't get the firstborn son. How about youngest son or whatever, So anyway, they do that.
The title of the episode is A Son for a Son.
Yeah. So this episode pretty much starts out with the very quick aftermath of that. Aegon actually being really sad. Does have something that resembles a pulse and a moving, pumping heart in there, but I don't think it's going to go well, and I don't think his reactions are gonna be good for anybody. But Rhaenyra had the right idea, and I think Daemon, like, being, he's the one that did it. He admits it, and he just kind of, I don't want to say banishes himself, but he just gets the fuck out of there for a while. I hope he doesn't stay gone for long, because I don't like the show without Daemon in it. So, well, I mean, I do, but it's so much better with him in it,
No, I think he's still gonna try to prove himself, because what does he do? Like from season 1, what does he do when he's on the outs with his brother, the king? He goes out and tries to prove himself. He goes and kills the crab cat. What was the guy's name? The crab catcher, or what it was?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Crab people.
They look like straight out of Mad Max or something.
Yeah, but so he goes off and tries to prove himself to the king. And in this case, from the trailer for episode 3, I'm getting the impression that he's going off to get whatever house to fly the banners and come into their side. Like, he wants to prove himself. Like, everything he's done so far, he's trying to prove himself. He's trying to help the team. He's just impulsive and he doesn't think things through. No one but Otto is a strategist. I mean, I don't see any other strategist.
Wait, did you say Daemon is impulsive?
Do it. And in that scene, he's the one, like, they cut to Daemon and he's just like, say it.
Yeah.
Like, just say it, please. I just want to do something. I just want, like,
he
likes to do crazy shit.
Yeah, because Daenerys is like, trying to just stand up straight and hold a knife. I'll have your tongue for that. But instead of that,
and I love Daemon's line. He goes straight back to the 80s. He's like, he can keep his tongue, because the tongue is hanging out of the body when the body falls. He can keep his tongue.
Yeah, that is a good kind of 80s one-liner. Stick around or something like that.
Stick around. You don't bother my friend. He's dead dialed.
So I'll bring up. Let's see. I'm going to try to mute it here. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to mute it and stop it every once in a while so we don't get a copyright on it. But this is just the promo for season 2. It doesn't really give you too much. But there you got Aegon just fucking mad as fuck. Oh, and we got to talk about. Because for those of you who don't know, Bobek and I and another friend, Josh, we did an entire day-long Saturday marathon of season 1. And one thing we kept noticing, it's great to binge that show. It's great to watch it weekly, but it's great to binge it because you see so much shit that you didn't see before. And we watched how Viserys's model of King's Landing started to grow and grow and grow. And now it's fucking gone. Like, Aegon fucking smashed the whole thing up. I'm super bummed about that. But I guess it was inevitable, I guess, right?
And what a symbolic turning point. You know, you've got the guy who's a builder. He loves, you know, I'm gonna start trying to use names, you know. The dead king Viserys. I can never say his name right. Viserys,
yeah.
Viserys, yeah. You know, like, what does he do? He's got his models. Yeah, he's got his model of the city. And as the city expands, he's expanding the models. And he didn't have a dragon in his model. You know, like, it was Alicent, as like when her dad was like, go read my young teenage daughter, go read books to my grieving friend, you know, because maybe you can like become the queen that way. And she's the one who brought him the dragon. He didn't have a dragon in his model. He didn't have that warring, like warlust, that bloodlust. And he was a builder, you know, he was a builder of cities. He was a builder of relationships. He was the only guy holding the thing together. And I love that now you've got, oh geez, I'm so bad with names. What's the son's name again? The new king, the Aegon the second.
Aegon, right? Aegon, yeah.
Yeah. And
real quick, I want to say hello to a newcomer who I don't think's been on the show. Ash D, hello. Thank you for coming on. Did I miss much? Not really. We just got kicked off here. If you've seen the episode, we're just kind of briefly going over what happened and the aftermath of the crazy nonsense that took place. We haven't gotten much into this episode yet, but right now we're talking about the destruction of the King's Landing miniature. Yeah.
And so when it comes to Viserys and to peace and stuff, the two symbolic scenes that I really think, like, plot wise, are really big in the first season, at the end of the dinner, when he finally gets his family to make peace with each other for the last moment. And as his guards pick up his chair and carry him out of the dining room, they bring in the pig. And that pig, remember, that was what the kids used to taunt. Oh man, I'm so bad with names. That's what the kids.
It was Rhaenyra's kids and Aemon. Yeah, Aemon.
And so they brought in the suckling pig, and earlier the kids had taunted Aemon, who had never had a dragon, by saying, "Oh, we got you a dragon." It was a pig with like wings strapped onto it. So that was one of those scenes where at the moment that Viserys leaves that room, immediately the conflict comes back in, and that was such a powerful scene. And the same thing with the model, where you've got now you've got, oh geez, you're gonna have to say the names for me every single time. The new king, Aegon, right? Aegon the second. Aegon the second, literally taking a sword, Valyrian steel, by the way, taking the sword and destroying that model of the city. I mean, what foreshadowing! And just like, oh, I know, poor Helena. I don't know anything about the books, but I saw some YouTube thing, and of course, if it's on YouTube, it's true. But like, I think in the book, she ends up hanging herself.
I heard that too, but spoilers, like, who knows if they're going to do that in the show?
Yeah,
because I know that there's a huge difference between what happens at the end of this episode with some twins. That's very different from the book.
Is it? Okay.
From what I've heard, So, and we'll get into that. But so far with these two episodes, am I wrong in saying that, like, I think the violence has been kind of mild, and are they pulling back, or is it just the storytelling hasn't required it yet? Because if you remember that first episode of season 1, Daemon comes in with the gold fucking capes or whatever and just slaughters people, and you're like, okay, this is Game of Thrones right here. Like, we have to get people on the right foot.
Wagonfuls of hacked up body parts after Daemon had fun that night.
This one hasn't really gone there yet, with the exception of like a sound effect of a child's head being sawed off or whatever. Even the sword fight at the end of this one, it was pretty bloodless and not like very shocking.
Were those guys even wearing armor? Like,
they were.
I thought armor. I know they were. But
you have to
stop swords,
dude. Because two guys sword fighting, the only one that ever wins gets close enough with a knife and goes up through the armor. That's the way it always works, you know.
Yeah. You know, and so I don't know. I'm just like, someone's got to talk to the steel makers about their method here, because, like, I think they're diluting that stuff. They're just wearing paper mache armor or something.
Want to read this one for us, Bobek? This note.
Can someone explain Kristen to me? He hates Rhaenyra for taking his virtue, but then has this thing with Allison, I just can't get over it. He is the worst. He's such a complicated guy. And I think that he lost
everybody
his
should leave the actor alone. He's getting all this crap on social media. He's a fucking actor. He's an actor.
He's playing a part. Don't confuse the actor with the part, you know?
Yeah,
but you know, but that character, I think that the moment that he was going to kill himself, he was going to go full seppuku, you know, and like he had the knife to his fucking belly. And Allison was the one that was like, it's okay to be corrupted. It's okay to be a twisted person who betrays your vows.
That's
just
exactly
do it
right.
For me, you know. And so
that you just answered Ash D's question right there. It's like he's now got this allegiance with Alicent that he never had with Rhaenyra, you know, because he was at the end of his rope.
He was like, Rhaenyra, let's run away and be lovers and leave all this behind. And she was like, I'd rather be queen. You know, that just you could see his heart break. Now, you know, he was like,
he was gonna die after he beat the fucking shit out of someone to his death at the feast, you know. But he's
face to literally a bloody pulp. That was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty good. See, we need a scene like that in this season. You know, there's only 6 left. There's only 6 left because this one is 8 episodes instead of 10. Which is kind of a bummer, but it's because they want to be able to get the next one out a little quicker. So I respect that, but
yeah, I mean, they put what 2 years into this.
Yeah, and I think they want to get the next one out next summer, which is why it's a little shorter. I think it's very mild for GOT universe. Yeah, so far. I mean, there's crazy shit going on. You're just not really seeing all of it yet, and that's fine. Like, you don't have to be shock value all the time. I didn't want to see a kid's head get cut off. I did not. That's not what I'm saying. I didn't want to see that. Yeah. There's got to be some bloodshed soon, you know?
Yeah. And I think that right now you're just getting the politicking. You're getting the maneuvering. Yeah. You're getting everybody sort of like trying to figure out how they're going to do things. And this Game of Thrones, it's like the players are mostly inept. Everything that, like, every domino that's fallen so far has been because of like some mistake that someone made, you know, just some random thing. Like Otto Hightower is the only person with a brain in his head and a plan. And he's just like, I'm surrounded by idiots. Like everyone, I wish we had education, you know?
Well, and he's the only one up until, he's the only one up until this episode that everything he did strategy-wise seemed to kind of work in his favor. Now, for the first time, and let's get into Otto, because I'll go back real quick. So Aegon, the king, ordered his men to just round up rat catchers and fucking hang them.
Yeah, just hang all the rat catchers.
One of the most like heartbreaking things I've seen on this series so far, with the goddamn dog looking up at his dead owner and just crying. And someone kicks the dog. Yeah,
he kicked the dog. You know, like...
That scene was so disturbing. And then you have Otto going right into Aegon's room and quarters and just like, what the fuck did you do? He's like, those were like brothers, sisters, sons, fathers, like, and he's just like,
and
well, now
one murderer.
Yeah, no, and one murderer. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so, but Otto getting that pissed off, it showed obviously a lot of compassion for him, which is one of the first times you've seen the genuine compassion, and I think that worked against him a little because he did not size up Aegon to just be like, well, then get the fuck out of here, you know?
Yeah.
And now he's gone. And now he's not the hand anymore. He didn't realize that this kid doesn't want to hear that, you know.
Are we doing spoilers now?
I think we've gotten into spoilers. I think
we've been doing spoilers all the time.
My bad. Yeah, usually we'll okay, everybody, real quickly. Sorry. Yeah, normally I just kind of jumped right into this one, but yeah, from this point on, up here on the right-hand corner of your screen, you see the spoiler warning. So be warned. I think everyone that's here has already seen the show, which is good. So I don't think anybody is going to watch it that hasn't seen the show, which is fine. But
but we just got to be, you know,
thanks
just
for,
put it up there.
reminding.
So
thanks for reminding.
We'll never get tired of that.
So would Allison. She's given up her role. Well, that's the thing. He didn't want to be anybody's whore, but it's different when Allison kind of brought him in and saved him from suicide, and like that's kind of like, well, now you swear allegiance to me, and he knew that.
Yeah.
And aside from Otto's reaction to everything, we got to talk about Christian Cole, because Christian Cole is the biggest douchebag in the world, who just keeps seem to be failing upwards like a college football coach. You know?
Yeah, what a dumbass. Like, he's talk about projecting guilt. Like, he's like, oh geez, I love it when Amon the second is like, where were you when my son was killed? And he's like, I was abed.
Yeah, which is a perfectly good reason. Yeah, you got to sleep sometime, right?
but he's got the guilt. He still has that guilt, and he's projecting that guilt onto. Okay, I don't know if it's Eric or Eric, but like the twins. One of them is Eric. The other one is Eric. Yeah. So Eric is the one that had the dirty cloak, and he's just sitting there minding his own business, eating dinner.
It's Julius and Vincent.
Okay.
From Twins, Arnie.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. And so he totally projects his guilt onto this poor guy, and is like, "Your cloak is dirty. You have shamed yourself. You are not worthy." And like that's his inner grief and his inner turmoil. Christos,
right.
Talking right there, and he's like, "I want you to go on a suicide mission to go," like as if it's had a chance of working, and the dude tells him to his face, like, "This is not going to work." It's like, oh, are you a coward? Oh, are you, like, just calls him out, like, no, I'm loyal. I'll go do it. I'll go kill my. But
that whole thing was so weird to me, because I'm still getting used to this show. I didn't even realize the twin brother angle until this episode. I was like, oh, they're twin brothers, like, because you're seeing so many characters, popping in and out.
Yeah, their story arc was only a few episodes, like at the end of last season and the beginning of this season.
I completely just spaced on that, so I was like, "Oh fuck!" Okay, now I get what's going on. All right.
Yeah, they were the twins who were told to go and find Amon the second.
Yeah, they're the ones that dragged him off the fucking street or whatever. Yeah.
One of them did. One of them got in a fight to take, and the other one was like, "Screw this! I'm going over to Rhaenyra's side. I'm not going to help the usurpers with their coup here." And there's a couple of good things that I appreciated about the writing, was that as soon as you had one twin trying to sneak in to assassinate the person the other twin is guarding, and then they get into a duel, like, what does every writer always do? Like, they do it where, like, one of the twins gets killed and you don't know which one, and then the other one becomes a sleeper agent, and like they're going to be lingering in the background, and then they'll pull their knife because, haha, I'm not actually the one who's the real bodyguard. But they didn't do that. So I appreciated that. They were like, no,
that was never going to work, because now there's other people in the room. All you have to do is ask him one question and he's given up. I'm glad they didn't do that.
I'm really glad they didn't do that. And it just really shows so much about them, like, to be like, we're brothers, and like, what are the last thing? They're like, I love you, like, brother, I love you. And it's just, they both apologize to Rhaenyra. Like, when the first one comes in to kill her, he's like, I'm sorry, this isn't what I want to do.
It's just
like,
an order.
Do it. It's just an order, and then the other one, once he kills his twin and he's going to commit suicide, he apologizes to her. Like, these are the nicest guys in the whole. Yeah, it sucks to be a nice guy in this world.
He would have been a fucking hero if he didn't do that, but he killed his brother. He didn't want to live.
Yeah,
So
I totally. And these are fleshed out people. Like, these are real people, and like, it's hard to really say that anyone is like truly evil, except for Clubfoot, except for Larys Strong. Like, that dude is probably the only dude who's like truly evil. He's like, yeah, I'll burn my elder brother and my dad and the family house just so that I can maybe, have a chance at power. Like, that dude is just
bitter, spiteful because of his condition, or something makes him super evil. He's just the worst. But he came swooping in the middle of last season, or towards the end of last season, and just immediately hooked everyone with his bullshit. Yeah, and now he's got the ear. Yeah,
he's the wormwood, dude. And that's the second thing that I appreciate about the writing. Not just going in for like the easy stuff. Like, when Larys Strong, when he pulls aside Amon the second, and he's like, people think you're weak. You've got like the hand, Otto Hightower, the hand of previous kings. You need to have your own hand. And like, he wants to be the hand. He just can't say it. And I'm so glad that he's not the hand, because that would, I mean, say what you will. Like, if Aegon II had chosen Lara Strong to be his new hand, then that would have actually shown some kind of strategizing, some intelligence, because at least the guy's a spy master. He's cold, he's calculated,
Right.
he gets shit done, And Aemond is like, no, I'm going to go with Kristen Cole because he wants one twin to impersonate the other, and that's brilliant. I'm like, no, that's not brilliant, and you're stupid for thinking that.
Oh my God! Just like I said, failing upwards. Christian Cole now so Christian Cole has now slept with both queens. He has doesn't age, and he's now the hand of the queen of the king.
He can't be hand for long, though. How long is he going to be the hand?
I have no idea. Well, he's not. I don't think he's going to be someone that dies early in the show because he's too. You have to have people to hate,
Yeah. Well, he's not gonna die early in the show, but I can't see how long he's gonna stay the hand. Like he can't. I don't know. Can't. Imagine him trying to sit at that table. Like he wouldn't be able to put the fucking ball in the right thing.
He's pretty like lug-headed. Yeah.
And he was surprised that he got named hand. He's like, "Are you sure? Like me?
Let's see. I was trying to bring that back up, but for some reason, if it sits for too long, it freezes up, and I got to put it back in. I just want to put a couple of visuals up as we're talking about it. But so as far as this episode goes, Damon's gone. We know he's just thinking stuff over. We don't know exactly what. Rhaenyra is super fucking mad because she had no idea what was gonna, and she showed a lot of humanity in this episode.
Yeah.
Just like not just pissed because she's getting blamed, pissed because a kid died,
Exactly. Yeah, she's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. And Christian Cole, like we said, just keeps failing upwards. Okay, so Aemond. I don't know if we're gonna see any clips of this to back it up, but that dude, that was some creepy looking shit with him laying next to the old lady, and he's just super long and skinny and naked, and he looked like in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows when like Voldemort is like a little naked dead baby.
Yeah, I mean that guy's a little twisted, dude. Like he kind of reminds me of a little bit in that scene of in the original in the original Game of Thrones. The Hightowers. One of the heir is still nursing from his mother when he's like 10 or like 12, and he's like nursing off his mom's teeth, and it was like some stunted, like emotionally and socially stunted. Like some of these highborn people turn out really messed up. And
well, they all have, now we know why they all have shitty parents. Like every parent. So, we're looking at Allison's like the worst fucking parent in the world.
Yeah, and when you see Aemond like in the middle of the whorehouse, he could be banging his way through the starlets, and what's he doing? He's basically crying to Mama. Like she was like that woman probably took his virginity when he was 7, or something like that.
But I love it though. It's a new character thing. He's going through his guilt. But for some reason, he did not want to tell people that it was an accident. He's claiming victory in a way.
Yeah,
he's not really like gloating about it, but he's not saying it was an accident. He's not saying Vagar did his own shit. He's just like, yeah, that happened.
And he's kind of like Daemon. He and Daemon are like the same character and same personality in 2 different bodies.
Daemon has way more charisma and charm, though. Like, Aemond has no charm. He's just stoic as fuck.
And I think Aemond is ultimately a bit smarter than Daemon. Like he can actually think things through a little bit. I love when he was planning things like with Kristen Cole, where he's like, listen, we're going to go collect the Bannermen. I'll be flying in on the biggest dragon on earth. You will be leading the army. We'll show up to the first castle. They will be intimidated. They'll join us. They'll add to our host, and we'll just go on this victory march. And we're going to collect that way. We're going to intimidate everyone into joining our side through the show of force. That makes sense. Like he's not saying like his brother Aemon, King Aemon II. He's not saying I want war now. He's saying let's collect our Bannermen. Let's make sure that we're gonna, he's strategizing there. And that's something Damon just can't do. Damon just cannot fucking strategize at all. Like his thinking is about 5 minutes in advance. You know, like
but that's why people use him specifically for that tunnel vision. Like that's how he got the Crab King or whatever. It's just like he just fucking ran in there and just sliced him in half instead of strategizing much.
He's a pit bull with lockjaw. You know, like,
that's what set him loose. Set him loose like this motherfucker. But this shot right here was Damon getting on his dragon and taking off.
So cool.
And just such I love it when the dragon drops straight down off the cliff, and then they swoon up.
Whoa. Whoa, is this is looking to see episode 3 or what?
No, this is all episode 2 stuff. I don't remember anybody's head getting cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? What they do with promos now is they don't just show you the next episode. They say like later on the season or whatever.
Right.
But,
just like previously on isn't just the last episode. It's like letting you know what storylines are relevant to this episode.
I think so. Yeah. Cause a couple of these shots, I don't really, look, what the fuck?
That looks
look
so
at that. Dude, that looks like Master Splinter. Dude, that looks badass. Anyway, yeah, so I just want to play a couple of those visuals while we're talking about it. I was hoping we could see a funny glimpse of the naked skeleton of Amon. Like, I mean, I don't want to see him naked. You know what I mean? Just like weird.
No, these people look a lot bigger in armor. Like they're not all that big.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I love a reference to the real world. There was a writer in the 1300s, the high point of the Middle Ages. And he described knights as a worm in an iron cocoon. And like, I really think that we're starting to see that. These aren't the biggest, baddest, physically imposing people. Like when you strip off all the armor and take away the dragon.
Biggest guys you couldn't fit in the armor, you know?
Yeah, you couldn't fit them in the armor, yeah. I think the armor maker is bigger than most of the royal family. What's that guy? He's a minor character, but they're building up for something. He's like the guy that's in charge of the mason or the steel guild or whatever.
Yeah, he keeps popping up.
He keeps popping up. He's going to have something to play. But I love how he's talking about inflation. I mean, how topical, is that to today? Like not that we have too much inflation as compared to how bad it was, but like he's talking about inflation and like trying to put meat on the table for his sick daughter, and like I love all that stuff. They're showing these stories, and they don't just show you something for random, for color. Like that's not what they do. Like they're showing you someone that's important, that's going to play a role later, and they put way too much effort into that guy's costuming. Like you can tell they bleached the dude's hair, and like they, so he's going to play a part somewhere. The maester of the Steel Guild or whatever his name is, the armorer, and all these like side characters. But someone who I'm really wondering about, because I should know the answer to this, but I don't. Missaria, like what role is she going to play? I feel like she's going through some transformation, because one of the main side characters in Game of Thrones was I don't even remember her name, but there's this fire religion where there's this like fire god, and in this show the gods are real, and like so she actually hooked up with the older brother, the brother of Robert Baratheon, the king who dies to set off everything in Game of Thrones, and she hooks up with him, and his wife is totally cool with it because they're both into this religious cult where like they worship the fire god by burning people alive, right? And like,
well, how else are you gonna do it? I guess, right?
Exactly. And so what that character, there's a moment where they show, because she's banging hot, right? She's just like so hot, and she's fucking her way through all the top guys, but then they show you what she looks like without her witchcraft, like without her witchcraft,
like she's got a spell on everybody or something.
She's got a spell, and it's like a cloaking
Shallow
spell.
Hal.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like Shallow Hal, where she's actually very old. It reminds me of The Witch. You remember that movie The Witch? Yeah, where like the witch is actually super old and decrepit, and yet she's able to do this spell to make herself look smoking hot. And then, of course, dudes like we're like, and so just use that against us, And so I'm wondering, because I think that their names were very similar.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding.
Sorry. I was a couple seconds late on that one.
No, it's all good, dude. But so I wonder if Missaria is going to become that person, because the previous
she's
the Game of Thrones was hundreds of
telepath,
years,
right? Or the she's the
she was Damon's like concubine.
Yeah, no, that scene between her and Rhaenyra was amazing. Like, it was so well acted that there's been a bunch of stuff on Twitter going like, "Oh, are they gonna have like a lesbian relationship?" It's like, no, absolutely not. That's not what that scene was showing at all.
Just because they banged the same dude, you wish.
No, there was this long look they gave each other that was so great.
Because they both know Damon. They both know Damon intimately. She's like, "Oh, I remember you when I was a little girl on the bridge.
Because you remember me now?
Yeah, you remember me now? Yeah."
Well, she's another one that doesn't age. She looks exactly the same.
They just put dirt on her face, like, "Oh, now you're poor." Yeah. But so I wonder if she's going to turn to the fire religion and become, because they keep in the previews, they keep showing these clips of a woman in a red cloak and like turning away from the camera and walking away. And so like they're dropping these little hints about that. So I wonder if if we're watching that character's origin story, with Missaria, who is really compelling. I really like her character a lot. So I wonder if that's what's going on. Yeah, smack her one moment after that long gaze. But
I kind of agree with you, Ash D. I thought that's where it was going. I didn't think they were having lesbian tension.
Yeah. Well, I took it as they've both banged Damon and they know what a douchebag he is to women, and to everyone, who's not like someone who cares about. And so that she's like, okay, I get it. She's lucky she didn't kill her. Yeah. But again, Rhaenyra is a good person. She is like embodying her dad, Viserys.
Kind of is. Peacemaker. She really is, and it's showing a lot.
Reaching out to people as much as she can.
Yeah, it's showing a lot this season. They're not keeping it. The teeter-totter is definitely swaying. It's not like, hey, here's two people. Who are you rooting for? Everyone's a shitbag. Alicent is clearly the more conniving, awful
she's the bad
person.
Guy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think they want you to know that when they show, it's been memed to death now, where she's like getting eaten out by Christian Cole. You're like, okay, so she's this now. Like, she's got her little man slave, like,
yes, she does.
Yeah. So I think that scene really signifies that. Yeah.
But can we just go back to like, where are the guards? Like, is every guard banging the person they're supposed to be, they're just guarding or something? Like,
they're conveniently, for plot armor reasons, not around.
Oh my God!
I don't know if it was like that in Game of Thrones, but here it's like, I think this episode, the difference is that they bring in the twin, so he just can kind of walk through and.
Yeah,
it's fine. There's no facial recognition or fingerprinting in this particular time and place in this fantasy world. But yeah, like, you got the right armor, you got the right face and hair, you must be the guy. Even though everybody kind of knows you've got an identical twin who's on the other but
side.
If you're not acting suspicious, though, then people just kind of forget that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
no, but he kind of was acting to show up. Though. He was acting.
Yeah. I love how the guards are like, wait, we thought you were inside. He's like, you shouldn't let your guard down. They're like, okay, cool, come in. Yeah.
It'd be funny if he had some kind of a nervous twitch or Tourette's, where he's like, they're like, hey, it's you. And he's like, ooh. And they're like, hey, what's wrong?
It's me. I mean, him. I mean, don't kill me.
What was that? Nothing. Ooh.
I twitch when I lie. I mean.
Death spark of jealousy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a little bit of jealousy, even though she's queen, so much stuff with her husband. That's true. Her uncle husband, What's up, baby? We're doing the show. Come in. You want to say hi? You saw the show. Do you have anything you want to say about it? No?
Yes.
Okay.
I want a woman's opinion.
She's saying no. So what do you think about the scene where the Queen Rhaenyra is interrogating Missaria, the spy woman? What are you trying to stay out of the shop for? Come over here. She's like trying to like get her clothes out of the laundry or something.
Is she like ducking underneath, thinking that
she was? Yeah.
You showed up anyway.
What's up, baby?
Did you tell him about when we took Lily to dentist, some social whatever guy just like, oh, can I take a picture of you guys?
we're doing the show. We'll talk about personal stuff.
I'm just saying that we've already seen this.
Okay, I don't think she has an opinion about the show.
No.
Anyway,
that's okay.
Can we cut that? Can we leave that on the editing floor?
No. This is live, baby. No, that's fine. I don't
Anyway,
really. I don't.
Yeah, sorry
it's. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Let's see. Then Allison combed her way to become queen. Major job of her hairs, and then they.
Yeah. Neglectful mother.
Well, yeah, and like now she doesn't even give a fuck about Otto, really. Like he's the one that guided this entire thing, and she's like, "You dumb shit! Like, why did you speak out?" And like, oh, you know what? That just reminded me. We got to talk about her biggest piece of shit moment since this series has started is when she goes in and sees Aegon just breaking the fuck down, and you got to assume it's because of his boy, right? Like, his son that got decapitated or whatever the hell was going on, just uncontrollably crying, which again, the show is so good. I know we're never going to get to a point where we root for Aegon, but it's still showing his humanity and how horrible he feels. And she just kind of walks away instead of consoling him. What do you think about that? Was she just like, because in the next scene, isn't she getting banged by Christian Cole again? Or she takes a bath or something? Or yeah.
Well, you can contrast that where Rhaenyra, where like literally, and I didn't realize this, but like in episode 1, Rhaenyra had one line in the entire episode. I want Aegon Targaryen is the only thing she actually said.
She shows up at the very end,
Yeah, but in every other scene, you get exactly what's going on with her. Like, you understand everything. She doesn't, Game of Thrones, you don't need dialogue. It's so well written. You understand everything from just the acting, the costuming, the writing is so good. And one of the most like heartbreaking parts of episode 1 was where, I'm checking my names again, where Jacaerys Valerian, he was one of the 2 brothers who was sent off to try to rally the banners, and his younger brother got chomped. And, he learns about it when he's at the wall from a raven, and then he comes back.
He got chomped? Sorry.
I love it. And, and it's like one of those heartbreaking scenes where he's like going to report to A, his queen on his mission, B, to his mom. And the subtext is so well delivered where he's just like, we got more swords on our side, and all they want is one dragon to defend their castle, and his mom just like, she's gonna break down too, and she just gets up and gives him a big hug. You don't need dialogue for that. Like, it's so well done, and you see that character of Rhaenyra, like as a compassionate, grieving mother, and you contrast that with what we're saying. Alicent, like, she sees her son just losing his mind, and she's like, okay, cool, yeah, I get it, your son was killed, and like, you got to deal with it, and like that's kind of it, so you see that
she's had to fork and stab and do whatever to get to where she's at, so that's minuscule bullshit to her.
She's always buried her emotions deep, like just tore her fingernails off while you got this decrepit
they don't do that anymore. They don't show that anymore. Like, that's not a thing.
She's in her own. She's her dad the way that Rhaenyra is her dad, the peacemaker. Alicent is now becoming Otto in the schemer, the.
But I think Otto's going to start regretting that a little bit.
Yeah. It's cool when you're the one pulling the strings, but when you see other people doing it, My other question about Alicent.
Sorry, go ahead.
How does she feel about her son and daughter being married?
Oh, they don't care about that. That stuff's so normal.
It's not normal. It's not normal. It's like, it's not normal even in that world. It's like only these certain families do it.
So far in this series, it's not that weird. I guess.
But I mean, that world, like, remember when people were proposing to Viserys that you should marry your niece. He's like, she's 12. Oh, well, maybe she can marry your son. He's 3. Like they were like.
Oh, I love the Tinder date that King Viserys goes on with the 9-year-old. Valerian daughter.
Oh my God. Awkward. Yeah.
So what should we talk about?
That's what you say. And she
I'm
won't answer. Well, what'd your
73
mom
and you're
say?
7.
I want to play until I'm 12. Like, oh, okay, you know.
Do you want to read this one, Bobek, from Ash D?
Yeah, the grieving moment was so sad. Also, fun fact: the dragon Luke was riding is Research Dragon's child. So both mothers are grieving. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, because
actually.
because the dragon was grieving on the beach. Yeah, thank you, Ash. I didn't get that because I thought the dragon was just grieving for Rhaenyra. But
I thought it was just grieving for Rhaenyra. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, this show is so deep, dude. There's no detail that is not like masterfully written. It's so good. Like every character is real. Even the dragons, you know, like I didn't get that there was a mother and a baby dragon, you know? Like wow.
I'm guessing Ash D may have read the books or something because I don't
Ash,
know if
did you read the books?
I don't know if they say that in the show.
I don't think it's maybe they mention in passing it like so and so has new eggs.
That's such a cool detail though, because I literally just thought he was grieving with Rhaenyra for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. More feeling punishment. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most awkward date. Yeah, that was. We were laughing our asses off during that marathon. Yeah. During that.
Oh God.
Oh, you didn't read the books. Oh, I guess it's just you just watch somebody more informed than we are.
YouTube videos on the dragons and like what's the size of them comparison and stuff like that. You know,
I've seen those, man. It's crazy. Like, why is Vagar that big? And there's nothing.
Vagar is like is like I don't know, like at least 100 or 200 years. I don't know. Vagar is old, and in the previous wars, like Vagar is like killed like 100 other dragons in the past or something like that. Is
Vagar ever referenced in Game of Thrones or just not at all?
Maybe, but I didn't get, you know.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know because you weren't looking for that specific thing or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, Vagar. We love you, Vagar. You're the best.
Yeah, Vagar's badass. But yeah, Vagar, like when you see Vagar's like wings, they're tattered and torn, you know, there's like massive gaping holes in them. And something that I really love about how they do the CGI dragon stuff is that the dragon, you know, like Star Wars with the clone bots, you know, like they're like they can't even step right, they just slide across
it
the
looks
floor,
so
you know?
weightless and weird. Yeah,
exactly. But now with the dragons, like in that scene where Rhaenyra is bringing her dragon in to the fishing village, the dragon interacts with the sand. The dragon knocks over one of like the fishing net things. Like these CGI characters are interacting with the set in a way that I really haven't seen before. And it looked kind of artificial where Rhaenyra just jumps off and slides down the wing. But I don't think they've attempted that type of thing in the CGI before. Usually they either have like a close-up of the actor on the saddle or whatever, or they're already off of the dragon. And
come on, it wasn't convincing when Legolas surfed off the trunk of an elephant in Return of the King.
I mean, at the time, you know, but like
even for that time, that was a dodgy looking scene right there.
Yeah. So that one part where she slid down the dragon wing, like you could see that it was, you know, fake, whatever, but it was really seamless. It was seamless, and at the same time that happened, the dragon's wings are interacting with the sand, you know, and the fishing's, you know, set. So like I really love how they really put these, you know, these CGI creatures into this world, and like even when they're flapping their wings, and they sort of, you can see how they're flying as a creature would, you know, how they're catching the wind and they're moving, and like, you know, you like the gust in people's hair as they you know, gust of wind in people's hair as the dragon flies by. You know, there's a lot of cool detail like that I really appreciate. Really, you know, the masters of the craft.
I agree. I never get taken out of a scene. As a matter of fact, I think the best composed scenes, lighting wise, just frame wise, everything, is the dragons, because they don't take it for granted on this show. Every shot, every time a dragon is in a scene, the music changes. It's an epic moment. They really take their time to craft together those scenes instead of just, like you said, well, can we copy and paste that dragon and put him over here in this fight or whatever? It's so detailed and perfect, because the rest of the stuff is just a lot of people kind of talking or like some mild stunt work and stuff like that. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But look at this.
Ash,
So
Yeah,
I guess
Ash is saying that Vagar's skull is in the Red Keep. Yeah, like you can see a skull of a huge dragon in this,
in this
show,
series,
in this series, and then in Game of Thrones, they have the skulls all lined up of these big dragons, and they get progressively smaller till the last one is the size of a cat. And
That's
they're
what
like,
you were
"This is what
saying.
happened." Yeah, but in this show, there's only that one dragon skull, and it's enormous, and it's not Vagar.
That's
because
cool.
Vagar's still alive.
But it's cool, like that. Maybe Vagar is one of them. Like, see, all this stuff is making me go, like, I have to watch Game of Thrones once this show is completely done. I'm not even going to touch it until this show has finished its arc.
It would be good to see it like chronologically like that. I think that would really help. Are they going to do another series to fill in the gap between the two shows?
I think there's something else, but I don't know what it is. I know that they shot like a, what was that one? What was the popular guy on Game of Thrones that became like Kit Harington?
Jon Snow. Yeah, Jon Snow.
They were supposed to, I guess they shot a pilot to make a show about that character.
It
just was shit, so it went nowhere. I might be wrong as far as the details, but
well, you can't have a character that lives too long in this world, because then it's just like how many times they cheat death. Like that's the great thing about House.
If they have an arc in their original show. Yeah, if they have an arc in their original show, they don't need anything else. It's like Joey after Friends. Did we really need a Joey show? I knew all I needed to know about Joey.
yeah. But there was this one reference scene where Jon Snow in Game of Thrones, Jon Snow, like his family's been slaughtered at the Red Wedding or whatever, and the banner's being called, and he wants to go off and fight, and then there's like he's talking to the guy that's in charge of the old blind man who's in charge of the Night's Watch or whatever. And he's like, there's a tension between your personal family and your duty to the wall and the watch. And I remember when I felt that tension, when I got word that they had slaughtered the children and this and that, and and I wanted to go off and join the fight. And Jon Snow was like, "Who are you?" And I thought that it was a character from this, but then I looked up this a family tree. And that character is actually an ancestor of Jon Snow, like 3, 4, 5 generations back, but he wasn't alive at this time. And so I think that there's enough references, from Game of Thrones to events that were happening in between these two shows that they could totally flesh out that middle part.
100%. Yeah. And I'm sure there's been stuff written too. I trust this because I love it that even though there's changes, it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, at least somewhere to go. But let's talk about
one of the cool things about
oh, thank you, man.
Dude,
thank
Ash,
you very much.
You're a badass, bro.
You're the man.
Hell yeah, love you, bro. What's it called? One of the cool things about Game of Thrones, towards the end, they started doing these flashback scenes, like a lot of flashback scenes to when those characters, like Ned Stark, when they were young. And when they were going through the wars that ended the Targaryen line and like brought up the Baratheons and stuff, like they had, they did the age regression thing where they had different actors playing Stark and all these Baratheons and all them when they were young and actually acting out all the events. Because that's how they filled in the Jon Snow backstory about his birth and how he's not really a bastard. That was just a cover story, And so like there's enough, and I hope that they start getting into that here, maybe doing some flash forward stuff. So there's actually enough material that's been kind of like created.
I don't know if they want to do that in this show because the show is so set.
It's more of a prequel.
It would be weird if it did that now, instead of.
You're right. Yeah, maybe not flash forward, but what they're doing now with the origin stories and stuff, and like really setting things up. I think that's kind of the point of this.
No. I agree with that for sure.
He can keep his tongue.
He can keep his tongue.
He can keep his tongue. Gotta love Damon, dude. Is there gonna be a Damon slash? Is there gonna be a Damon and I'm so bad with names.
Christian Cole.
Damon, a Damon and Aemon battle.
I was gonna say Damon and
Aemon battle.
Christian Cole or something fight.
Damon and Christian Cole. That'd be pretty badass.
Well, no, Christian Cole. He's
the one guy that
beat Damon. Yeah,
Damon was lucky that was just a joust.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go the way we all have it in our heads. That's the thing I like about the writing of this, is it's not there to please you in like, oh, here's the payoff. Oh, I'm so glad these two are connected. They're fighting because they have all this beef in history. It's like, I love it that it's more intriguing than that. Like, you don't know. It's going to be some sneaky little fucking kid or something that puts Damon to his end.
Yeah,
just out
Damon
of nowhere.
Will trip off of his dragon. He's going to slip off his dragon midair. Like that's
he'll slip. Yeah, he'll slip and like get hung by the noose of the saddle on the dragon. His dragon will be flying around for an hour, and he's just hanging behind him dead. Yeah, yeah.
Like that. Yeah, but again, that is what's so good about this writing. They know of the formulas. They might even use some of the formulas and stuff, but they're not going to go all the way through with it. And that's where you get the twists. Like the twists and turns and the unexpected things. That's what just keeps me going, because honestly, like every prediction that I make where I'm like, oh, well, they showed this, this, and this, therefore this is going to happen. No, we're not lazy writers here. This is Game of Thrones, motherfucker.
Yeah, they're not. They know, even though I didn't watch the original series, you can tell that they learn from the mistakes, and they're like, we want to get you back to like just being so invested and enveloped into this character-wise more than anything, which I appreciate. Like when I say I want more bloodshed, but I love the character stuff too, because when the bloodshed comes, it makes it that much more impactful.
Exactly. It has to be people you care about or hate. You either love or hate. And
I didn't give a shit about that twin, but I still like, just from the reaction of the whole, the way they met up in that room and had their little conversation. One has to do one thing. One has to do one thing. One has to do another. They both have allegiances. They both think they're right. And then at the end, even though one wins by saving Ramirez, they both die. It's fucking amazing writing.
Good. And the flash forward, like not flash forward, but the thing where they show you what's going to happen in the next episode, like they're buried together. They're buried in a single grave together, and it's just like such a heartbreaking character arc for both of them. And they were only really around for a few episodes.
Just very few. They weren't even really in episode 1 hardly at all. They just reappeared in this one.
Just enough so you know who they are and that they're there. They're not just like a flash in the pan. That's why, honestly, like the writing for Game of Thrones, it really reminds me of Leo Tolstoy, like War and Peace and Anna Karenina. Like War and Peace is this novel where it's basically like a bunch of vignettes, and it has like every character is fleshed out. It doesn't matter how minor you are, even if it's like a 3-sentence description of the character, they're a real person and they're really fleshed out. They're real, and that's what I love about Game of Thrones, is that like there's no throwaway characters. There's no stock, even the rat catcher, like his relationship with his dog.
Absolutely.
That's like to it. He looks like a rat. He's got that ratty look on his face.
No, it's the rat catcher was super detailed and almost had this story that we didn't see just from how well it was presented,
And when the rat catchers are all hung out there in public, the way that you see it is like there's just some woman walking through the market, and she goes around the corner. She's like, my son, like right there, you got character development for 2 extras. Like they're not even in the story.
Dude, you get character development. Hey, baby.
She just woke up from a nap. Yeah, she just had a little nap.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah, I love you, baby. And the door is closed.
Oh,
I don't know what she wanted in here anyway. Yeah, no, perfect baby. I love her so much.
But
anyway.
No, I just what were you saying?
There are no throwaway characters. There are no throwaway characters,
No, even the dog, so even the extra, even the dog extra, like had a moment that was to me sadder than anything.
Sad. Yeah, the dog like loves the master that kicked it. Like talk about loyalty. And it's true. Everyone is flawed, and that poor dog. What that dog ever do but like help eat rats? Like, and the dude kicked it. Now it's an orphan dog. Now it's a street dog. I hope that tramp meets a lady behind the restaurant.
Yeah, I know. But I do think to wrap it up, we'll talk about the ending real quick. The twins fight was fine. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, I knew Rhaenyra was not going to die in that scene.
Yeah. She'll be the queen at the end or something.
You've seen her in scenes in promos past this episode, but I didn't know where it was going aside from that. And I think everybody kind of made the right decisions by like immediately calling out to somebody else and bringing someone out. Like, because sometimes you're like, why are you just letting these two fight? Yell out to whoever else can hear.
Yeah.
So I thought
there's got to be another guard in this castle.
I do like how hard each one of them fought. I almost think that the brother that was sent there to kill her wasn't fighting as hard because he didn't fully want to commit to it. Whereas the protector brother was fighting twice as hard, or at least a little harder. It just kind of felt that way.
It did, yeah.
I don't know.
And that's why he won, you know. But
protecting life, like, you have more passion to protect life than to take life, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you're like good guys like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like winding down, it really is kind of doing a little bit more setup. Like looking at the trailer for the next episode, where like Aegon II is like, "All right, cool, so this is war, let's go," and it literally shows his men marching out the castle, you know, like going off. And I'm sure that there's not going to be a battle, you know, they're just going to go and like collect bannermen and, you know, gain the army or something like that. But they're getting into it, you know, like they're starting to set it up. And go out there. The pieces are moving on the board, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it definitely looks like from the promos, Christian Cole decapitates somebody. I don't know what episode that's going to be, but yeah. So for my final thought on the episode, I thought it was great. Maybe a little bit better than the first one because a little bit more started to move forward. So yeah, for me, I give this episode. Oh, shit!
What is that, a 10?
Yeah, that's a high mark. That's a oh shit. It just made me yeah.
I'm gonna have to go change my pants.
Yeah,
well,
right?
I mean, I think that you're gonna see a little bit more coming up, you know.
yeah, a lot more. I mean, now we only got 6 left, so remember that when there's 8, 2 more episodes and we're at the halfway fucking point of the season. So 2 episodes, a lot of shit has to happen. And I do appreciate that they're making their episodes a little bit longer than an hour. So you do get a little bit more per episode. But I wish there was 10, but I get why they didn't, because they can go into production on next season faster without, you know, because each one of these episodes is like 20 million, you know, they're millions of dollars.
I believe it.
Oh yeah,
they don't build part of a set. They build
season one cost $200 million for the entire season. Yeah,
I believe it.
So that's $20 million an episode. Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
They didn't mess up. Yeah, and it's so good. Like I was watching, just like after I watched episode 2, oh dude, you're right, Ash. When I was watching episode 2, like I wanted more, so I started looking at all of the you know, HBO extras, where they have all these like little 2-3 minute clips about like different characters and whatever, you know, and it's really cool because they show you the behind the camera stuff, where it's the shot where you see the camera, you see the actors, you see the set, then you see the green screen, and you see all of the support staff around them, like blowing the snow and like, you know, doing the makeup and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that there's so much stuff here that's not actually real. You know, like when Jon Snow and you know, whatever, when they're all, not Jon Snow, when you know, at the beginning where they're standing on the wall and they're looking out over the horizon and stuff.
Yeah, it's all green screen.
That's all fucking green screen. Like even the like, I mean, I get that the background's a green screen, you know, but I mean, like even like just the stuff right around them, you know, it's not even real. And it just they deliver, like it's just so well put together, you know. It's amazing.
That scene, the perfect amount of wind blowing on them, the perfect amount of snowflakes hitting their hair. If you can disguise the green screen through the other details that are practical, it'll do. That's what Steven Spielberg did with Jurassic Park. Was he disguised the CGI by cutting scenes so fast that your brain didn't even know one from the next, because you had animatronic, then you had a CGI shot, animatronic, and you just, it all meshed together, you know?
Yeah,
so.
It's blended so well together. Yeah, so 200 million, well spent. You know, I can't wait to see what they do with it, because they have to, and I get it. This is a slow plot development, but like they're building up to something, and like they know they have to top whatever they've already shown. Like in the original Game of Thrones, they were always talking about dragons, and at first it's an egg, and then it's a little hatchling, and then it's bigger,
this
and then
one just, you see dragons.
This one starts with the dragons, you know, and so it's like when you're starting with the dragons, but they're peaceful and they're just sitting on their.
There's so many dragons in this series that Damon's just tossing one like a basketball in season 1. Remember, he just chucks it.
Yeah, he just chucks it, you know. Oh, sorry. Before we go, I loved how that scene that you just mentioned from season 1, where Damon has got the egg. And they're on that bridge, and that bridge is a throwback to like so many like cool things happen on that bridge in Game of Thrones. And so it's like that already that bridge is like is a cool thing. And they just like draw their swords and everything. And Damon's like, dude, I'll slaughter all you fuckers right now. I got the dragon to back me up. And who shows up? Rhaenyra. Little girl.
And that was when she was still the younger girl. Yeah.
She's a little girl. She walks
no fear.
Yeah, she's like, I got this, guys. You can sheathe your swords. I got my uncle. You know, little girl walks up to him, basically unarmed. I don't even think she had a dagger on her. Walks up to him. She's like, here I am, the object of your ire.
Yeah.
Kill me. Do it now, or shut the fuck up and give me my egg back. That's my brother's egg. You know what I mean? And Damon is like, if you were anyone else.
He did end up marrying her, his niece.
He ended up marrying her, and but like he like goes up and he's like, I'm not gonna do it, and he just chucks the egg at her because he's pissed that she just called him out. He wasn't bluffing, but then she just showed him that like he was, and he's like, fuck you, I guess I was bluffing. Here's the egg, and then throw back to that scene where she's interrogating him as a grown woman in episode 2, and she's like, "I can't. My dad
can't trust you.
Yeah, he couldn't trust you, and I don't know if I can trust you."
She goes, "I don't think I ever have," which I love.
Yeah, and he gets up out of his chair, walks across the room, puts his hand on her fucking throat, and it's like.
But then goes up to her face.
Yeah, right? And it goes up to her head, and it's like, Zen.
It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. I swear to you, it was a mistake. I'm not going to tell you whose mistake it was, but it was a mistake. But even that.
It wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. That was on purpose.
That was totally on purpose, dude. That was on purpose. Oh my God. But I love that where they're even though they switched out the actors for the actresses, the character's the same, and the dynamic between the uncle, husband, and niece wife is still the same. Of like, I don't. I will stand up.
I really like this. I really like this actress.
That is how she earned her respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
I really like it. I really like this actress that plays the older Rhaenyra. Like, it took me a while to get used to the fact that she looks so drastically different than the young one, but she's actually quite beautiful. I wasn't suggesting that she wasn't. She just looks different.
No, but Alicent looks like exactly the same person.
Exactly
Rhaenyra,
like the young person.
This is a different person playing the same character.
Yeah, but she is fucking. She's spectacular, and so is Olivia Cook as Alicent. They're just tearing the show apart.
Emma Darcy and Millie Alcock. Yeah. Her name was Alcock.
Well, Millie Alcock was she's going to be Supergirl.
So that was a straight face. She's going to be Supergirl. Yeah, she is. I wonder if she marries Superman. I don't know. Sorry, where'd that come from? But
we're going to get out of here, guys.
Anyway, so good. Love it.
Yeah, this is great. And Ash D, thank you so much for so much conversation. And thanks for the sub up. If we'll be at this again next week. If you're someone that ever likes to be on camera and just wants to jump on the show with us, it'd be easier to talk to you than read all these comments. So anyway, man, looking forward to next week. Bye. Love you.
Yeah,
this is great.
I'm looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to every week. The show keeps being better and better, and I can't wait to see what they got in store.
Awesome. Later, guys. We drink your cinema. Dude, I got